As twilight sparkle, Sakura, and Luna run through the trees and undergrowth of the Everfree, a platoon of Lunar Guard ponies works at moon speed to get the residents of Ponyville to safety. Memory spells are used liberally to block the memory of the horror from the residents' minds, ensuring that the liquid fell Fae can't bind itself to more future victims. It's hard work, and many residents are in a panic over the horrifying living stream of silver and blue that is rushing through the streets of their town, and in some cases, their homes. One poor soul even witnesses their beloved pet Blue Jay being absorbed and devoured before they can get to it. Thankfully, the carnage is minimal and mostly confined to a few pets and damaged architecture. Luna had sensed the problem early enough that the Lunar Guard had more than enough time to evacuate the residents of Ponyville and put up a magical safeguards to minimize property damage. However, for all their efforts, there were still a few pony victims that they could not get to in time. Mostly vagrants who had traveled to Ponyville for its very successful social support system. Their corpses, or what was left of them, caused even the most experienced guard to evacuate his stomach at the sight of them. The few lucky ones seemed to have been asleep when the Fae devoured them, as an afterthought while hunting its prey. Others, however, were fully awake and aware. In the case of one grass-green and brown-maned stallion, he died with his expression forever frozen in absolute agony and terror, or so as seen from the remaining half of his head that wasn't absorbed or melted, from which liquefied brain matter oozed like curdling milk into cobblestone. His cutie mark could not be used to identify him since there was nothing below his shoulders that remained, and his shoulders themselves were barely discernible, having melted into a gluey mass of something. Scans indicated that the very structure of bones, muscles, and fur had blended together in such a way that it was impossible to tell what ended and what began where his shoulders had been. The worst part was that Stallion was one of few corpses that still resembled a pony. Others were completely unrecognizable. No pony, no buddy deserved that sort of a fate. So as the trio of Luna, Twilight, and Sakura raced through the woods, the guards secretly prayed that the trio would stop this horror in time, that they would be able to put an end to this monstrous fiend that calls itself Fae, not just for their own sanity or the safety of the residents of Ponyville and beyond, but for the poor souls who were already lost and possibly now faced a fate worse than death.
Support me on Patreon. Subscribe and make sure to ring that notification bell to know when I post new content. And please, feel free to join the Lotus Garden. Links in the description. Thanks for listening, and look forward to more. Good night, every pony.